Jonathan, White House aides have to be absolutely dazed by the president's horrid performance in front of Jonathan Swan, a confused, bumbling, rambling performance where they're just, again, his face, his eyes, it's like he wasn't there. Do they really want a fourth debate?
So, Joe, this is now the second high-profile interview in recent weeks the president has really struggled with. The one with Chris Wallace on Fox a few weeks ago being the other. The aides have suggested they don't think this one quite has the traction. It was on HBO. One aide yesterday dismissed it as, quote, liberal porn to me, thinking it was unfair. But, of course, we all can watch the clips. There's no editing here.
I'm sorry. Wait. What was liberal porn? He got all the facts wrong. I'm a conservative. I'm a lifelong conservative. I was a conservative before Donald Trump lied about being a conservative. I'm a conservative after he will leave being conservative. I'm more conservative than all of these people that have followed this autocrat in training. What are they saying is liberal porn? That he got all the facts wrong? Have they really put themselves in a corner now where if you go along with facts, if you go along with statistics, that makes you a liberal?
Well, that's their argument, and it certainly has not proven to gain any traction in recent days. Joe, one thing that interview also did was dismiss what would have been a recent White House talking point about the coronavirus, i.e. the mortality rate. They were hanging their hats on that it was lower. That, of course, has changed in recent weeks, so they're back to the drawing board on that. But you raise a question about whether they're boxed into a corner, and the answer is yes. This is a campaign now. We're under 3 months until Election Day, and as you and I have been talking about a lot, we're now under 1 month until early voting begins in a number of battleground states, including North Carolina, in which the president really doesn't have a path to win without capturing the Tar Heel state. And yet they're running out of time and set pieces to turn the narrative of this campaign around. We know the convention has been completely upended. The president will certainly give a speech at some point, but it's not going to be the 4-day celebration he had hoped. He's unable to hold any rallies. He is trying to substitute smaller events, both official and political, to take that space. I'm traveling with him today to Ohio, where he is doing a couple of things. But let's point, even as a pause on that, he's got to go to Ohio, a state that a few months ago they thought they had in the bag. And now he's got to spend some time and resources there. So they are putting a lot of eggs in the baskets of the debate. The campaign, as you mentioned yesterday, called for a fourth debate, one that's earlier. Right now, the first debate is scheduled for the end of September, and they want one at the beginning of September, coinciding with the beginning of early voting. To this point, the Biden campaign has said no to that. They said that we have agreed to the 3 with the Federal Debate Commission. We will stick with that. But it goes to show you the White House and the president, they're running out of moves. They feel like they can do well in the debates. They do plan to sort of highlight when Joe Biden stumbles or get a fact wrong or something like that. But it also just opens up the litany of clips that the president has done so in the past, and, of course, the risk on the debate stage that he, not Joe Biden, may be the one suffering the verbal implosion.
So let's talk about some of those facts the president's bumping up against. The United States averaged more than 1,000 daily deaths from coronavirus for a 10th consecutive day yesterday, in addition to more than 51,000 new cases. This comes as an analysis from the Associated Press finds testing in the United States declined by 3.6% over the past 2 weeks. According to the AP, officials largely attribute the drop to Americans becoming discouraged over having to wait hours to get a test and days or even weeks to get their result back, rendering that result meaningless. 22 states saw declines, the report says, places like Alabama, Mississippi, Missouri, and Iowa, where, quote, the percentage of positive tests is high and continuing to climb, an indicator that the virus is still spreading uncontrolled there. Testing, largely is seen by health officials, as you know, as the key to reopening schools and businesses. Meanwhile, President Trump continues to claim the virus will just disappear.
The country's in very good shape, and we're set to rock and roll. This thing's going away. It will go away like things go away.
It'll go away like things go away. Absolutely. It's no question in my mind. It will go away. Please go ahead. Hopefully sooner rather than later.
Let's bring in politics and journalism professor at Morgan State University, politics editor at The Griot, and an MSNBC political contributor, Jason Johnson, and national political correspondent for Time, Molly Ball, is with us. She wrote the cover story for the new issue on ways the COVID-19 pandemic is transforming the 2020 election. Good morning to you both. Jason, he's still now 6 months into this. The president is wishing this away, saying it's just going to go away the way things go away. And we saw his ineptitude in that interview when confronted with the facts that voters and Americans are seeing in their own lives around them about what's really happening, and that it in fact is not going to just go away.
Yeah, Willie. I mean, first off, the only difference between the interview that the president did with Jonathan Swan and that crazy press conference that we saw from Kanye West a couple weeks ago is that he didn't burst into tears. I mean, he clearly has no handle on what he's talking about and what he wants to do. And regardless of what the numbers may say, in some states, there's a little bit less testing. Some states, there seems to be a bit of a spike. We know one thing. As kids go back to school, as college students go back to campus, we are seeing spikes. We are seeing spikes in elementary schools in Indiana. We are seeing spikes in high schools in Georgia. I don't see any reason. If anyone was able to fool themselves this summer and believe the president's fake statistics, well, maybe it's going down, I don't know anyone. That's not going to be the case, as we have dozens and dozens of children who are going to be sent home from schools over the next couple of weeks with the coronavirus. The president has no plan, rhetorically or strategically, for how to handle this. And as people head to the polls in the next month, they're going to be voting with that anger, that frustration, and that fear of what he hasn't been able to handle so far.
Coming up, Facebook and Twitter remove a video of President Trump falsely claiming children are, quote, almost immune to the coronavirus. How that lie could impact the lives of American children. Morning Joe is back in a moment.
A country